Hey, what's up you guys, it's Ruthie and welcome back to my channel. You're a little crooked, hold on. There we go. In today's video, we're going to go into part 3 of chapter 6 of the Mothers and Daughters of the Bible Speak by Shannon Bream. So let's get right into this video. This video is going to contain topics of the Bible. If you do not wish to hear anything about the Bible, I suggest you click off the video now. You have been warned. Sorry, I'm trying to get myself adjusted into a more comfortable position. This chair is not very comfortable to keep reading in for very long. Jesus in the temple. After Herod's death, an angel of the Lord once again appeared to Joseph in a dream, telling him it was safe to return to Israel. This time, Jesus and his parents hiked all the way north to Nazareth, which became his home. Luke closes his early narrative with an interesting story, one in which Jesus speaks for the first time. Every year, Jesus' parents went to Jerusalem for the festival of the Passover. When he was 12 years old, they went up to the festival according to the custom. After the festival was over, while his parents were returning home, the boy Jesus stayed behind in Jerusalem, but they were unaware of it. Thinking he was in their company, they traveled on for a day, and then they began looking for him among their relatives and friends. When they did not find him, they went back to Jerusalem to look for him. After 3 days, they found him in the temple court, sitting among the teachers, listening to them and asking them questions. Everyone who heard him was amazed at his understanding and his answers. Luke 2:41-47. This story is often used to highlight the beginnings of Christ's mission on earth. We see someone wise beyond his years, unafraid to be alone, and on his own in a big city, fully engaged with the religious teachers at the temple. If you've heard the story, especially if you've heard it many times, that may be where you initially focus, but let's not forget at the heart of this passage there was a frantic mother whose son had been missing for days. When his parents saw him there, they were astonished. His mother said to him, "Son, why have you treated us like this? Your father and I have been anxiously searching for you." Luke 2:48. Mary must have been enormously relieved to lay eyes on her son, knowing he was safe and unharmed. Yet she knew he had a divine destiny, but it seems she hadn't anticipated he would be so young when it started to reveal itself. She was clearly taken aback. How could you let us fear and panic like this? In the previous 2 passages we looked at in this chapter, the prophecy of Simon and the flight into Egypt, Mary suffered as a mother because of outside forces. She experienced foreboding at the words of Simon. She experienced fear at the prospect of Herod's assassins. But in this grief, it was Jesus himself who was the source of her pain. Can you imagine what those 3 days must have been like for Mary? Even 1 hour of not knowing where your children are and being unable to protect them, where they might be lost and confused and crying out for you in agony. It is a grief that hundreds of thousands of mothers experience every year. Hundreds of thousands of children in the United States go missing every year, leaving mothers worried and desperate, swinging between hope and despair until that child is located. For a few unbearable days, Mary was one of those mothers, but she lived in a world where mothers had no access to call up 911 and rally the police to help in the search. She lived in a time without cell phones, no social media, where she could post her son's picture, lacking a way to quickly stay in contact with any leads from friends and family who also must have been searching. In the midst of their story, it is easy to miss a telling detail: the number of days. After 3 days, they found him in the temple courts. Luke 2:46. Jesus was missing from his distraught parents for 3 days, just as he would later be absent from his grieving followers for 3 long days. On the 3rd day, Mary had a foreshadowing of the joy and the resurrection to come when she finally caught sight of her son, and he was whole, well, and alive. As much as she must have been grateful for what seemed like a miracle, Mary asked the same question any mother in that situation would have asked. "Why have you treated us like this?" Jesus responded. "Why were you searching for me?" He asked, "Didn't you know I had to be in my Father's house?" But they did not understand what he was saying to them. Luke 2:49-50. I'm going to have to leave it off right here, and I will see you guys in another video. She's going to start crying. So I will be back in a separate video for the next part. Bye.